walkers of the weird way. I felt really compelled to drop in with you, and in particular, those of you who have been following along with the 13 moon initiation into the heart of fairy. We're really going to be diving into that, and I'm going to be doing some conversation with the cards while we talk about this and what's coming up with this full moon. We're in our second moon right now. We just started that with that Virgo new moon that came in, and we're currently working this lunar cycle through the 25th of September when we get our next new moon in Libra, okay? And by then, we're really going to be getting into the heart of this initiation process. I wanted to give some space. I wanted to give some time for people to explore, people to take in the readings with these, initiation posts to get a feel for it. And I do want to tell you that when I'm doing these readings for the Weird Way Collective, if it's something that speaks to you, even if you're opting not to go into fairy initiation, that's all good. It's something that is speaking to you for a reason. There's some kind of message that wants to come through. So just, be open to what it sparks inside of you. And even if it's just a curiosity, that's okay too. So if you're here, if you're watching this, the messages that come through, they're for you too. But we are going to be bringing in a consecration working for our amulet. And this amulet that we have gathered, and it was sort of the work that we were charged to do by Fairy for this moon. They're really easing people in, but they're asking for a firm commitment, They're asking for a firm commitment. And so what I will say is these readings are timeless. Right now, as I'm recording this, we're going through this 13 moon initiation in live time, but these will remain up. They'll remain up in sequential order with all of the different workings, with all of the different techniques, so that you can really learn how to work with alchemy on the path of fairy. And you can come to it any time that feels right for you. But I will say this, do not jump ahead. If you're going to explore this, it's so essential to have respect for fairy and have respect for the process. So don't jump ahead. Do so at your own risk. And I'm just, being very real and upfront about that, because everything that I'm presenting in a certain order for a certain reason, so that it builds up a space of readiness in the individual to dive into fairy, because diving into the realm of fairy can absolutely blow your mind, okay? Blow your mind wide open. And, it's important to sort of know the rules of the road. We're going to open this road, but it's important to know the rules of the road, which are, there's some fluidity there, of course, but when we're dealing with fairy, there's certain there's certain ways you need to come, you need to come correct. You need to come correct with fairy. It's very important. And I'll just leave it at that for right now. This isn't any Tinkerbell shit, the fairies have a lot of might, okay, a lot of strength, and they're also very playful, but they are very wild and free energy that cannot be contained, okay? And it's so important that when you're working with them, you know how to be respectful, and that you have certain, honor for traditions, even as you make the path your own, right? And there's also just some very general basics, 101s of working with the craft. And they're for your benefit. They're really for your benefit. So you can open up to this experience and you can step into your empowerment, and you can learn how to move on this very transformational, powerful path of healing, okay? And as you affect that healing within yourself, you extend that healing out into the world. And it's all through getting reconnected with nature, reconnected with those elementals, reconnected with the land, coming back home, so to speak, to our roots, to our ancestry, to what connects all of us, that pulse, that heartbeat of the planet. When we feel that connection with the land, that's fairy. When we look at the stars at night and we hear a song, floating on the breeze that reminds us of a time when we once were all around the campfire with our ancestors, that's fairy. When you're looking at the clouds and they're shape shifting and they're sending different messages your way and they're speaking to you and you're seeing this whole epic story unfold before your very eyes, that's fairy. It's when you hop in the car and the song that was in your head is now playing on the radio. And then when you go in the grocery store, it's playing there too. And then you go to your friend's house and you're hanging out with them and they're going to make you something to eat and they're singing the song as they're stirring the pot. It's synchronicity, it's silliness, it's unpredictable, it's wild, it's free, it's fierce. Because you are constantly having a mirror held up for you in fairy. It's actually a path of fierce integrity. Fierce integrity. You have to be very true to yourself. You have to be of your word. Don't go back on your word with fairy. It's not a good scene. They will test you. They will test you. I'm going to be honest with you and telling you that in the initial few months of opening up to this path is when it seems very sweet and very new and exciting, and you get to sample some of the delights, but you do head into a place where there's a lot of deep integration work to be done. There's a lot of calling soul parts back. There's a lot of deep, intense purification work. And I will just relay what Francesca de Grandis had relayed to me, in that the path is endless purification. And it really is true. It's a constant wiping the slate clean and moving back to that initial point of creation when it was just the primordial mother, Danu, or she who's known by many names, many names. Danu is a Celtic primordial mother that is largely shrouded in mystery. She is the very root of fairy, the very root of fairy. And she bears strong association in my mind with the star card of the tarot, because she is like this water bearer who pours the waters upon the land, and everything grows so abundantly, so lushly. Everything becomes verdant with her nurturance. And she's really seen to represent both land and the waters, in particular rivers, sweet waters. It's very interesting. She has a lot of associations cross-culturally. There is Danu, a river goddess, associated with Hindu mythos. And then also there's so many similarities between Danu and Oshun. So many. And I will get into this as we dive deeper into this whole initiation process, but I'm just kind of like Just like sprinkling on a little bit of the very essence of what's going to be coming in. This isn't like child's play stuff. It's not Disney. It's not Tinkerbell. We're going to dive really deep. We're going to really look at the roots. We're going to look at the ways that we are all interconnected, no matter our spiritual beliefs, no matter what part of the world we're from, that we really have so many things that connect us. We have so many signposts that bring us back to it's all one energy. And we're going to tap into that. We're going to go real deep with this journey. And I'm really excited to share this in this way for whoever is ready to receive it, whoever is ready to go there, to go back to the source. But in the beginning, there was this primordial mother and just that clean slate, just darkness, like a black mirror. And Danu scried upon that mirror and became enamored with her reflection. And so much so pulled that reflection from that black mirror and named her Miriam, or beloved of God. And Miriam and Danu made love. And from Danu making love essentially to her reflection, to herself, came the blue god, Dionysus. And then the green god, the verdant god, the green man. And then the hunter, who she said would always be led in his hunt back to her. And surely so. And it is through her all gods were birthed and all gods were suckled. And it is through her that we have Faerie. She is the mother of Tuatha De Danann. So we're going to be diving deep into Danu's well, and it's really interesting because I've just made some connections on a recent download I had that's posted here called Hippocampus Rides Again. And I really encourage you, if you're going through this 13 moon initiation and you have not listened to that download yet, please listen to it, because I just made the connection tonight that it's actually relating to Danu. And so it's an important piece coming in for you to integrate as we move through this second moon cycle. I say this because she is a goddess of both water and earth, right? And two symbols associated with Danu are fish and horses. And the hippocampus is half horse, half fish. So please check that out. I had this real big full circle. I'm getting so much sentience right now, but I had this really big full circle moment today when I realized that that was Danu's energy coming through big time. So please, if you are going through this initiation process and you're in live time with me here, or even if you catch this, down the road, who knows, years from now, do check out that reading. Do check out that reading. It was a Weird Way collective read, and it was called Hippocampus Rides Again. It has seahorses on the front for the cover. Okay, so check it out. I'll probably put a link to it in the comments here, and that way you can easily find it. So those of you who've decided you're ready to move forward now, I welcome you. And those of you who are like, you know what, I'm not ready to move forward right now, but I do want to tune in. I'm curious about this and I just want to follow along. I welcome you too. Okay, all are welcome here. But there is this There is this thing coming through with fairy, like, don't play with us. Fairy's like, don't play with us. If you want to tap the roots of fairy, once you say yes, you said yes. And they're like that. You know, once you open the door to fairy, it doesn't get shut. That's just the way it is. So do be mindful about this, because we're going to be consecrating our amulet. Okay, we're going to be consecrating our amulet with this full moon, which really you want to work with the energy of the building moon tomorrow night, because the moon is going to be full in the wee hours of Saturday morning. I think at like uh, after 5 a.m., just after 5 a.m. On Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so we're looking at like just after 2 a.m. over there on the West Coast. So I want you to be mindful of this. And, you know, later Friday night would be a really good time to do this cleansing ritual and consecration. It's also a devotional dedication ritual. And it's going to be simple. We're not doing anything complicated. And I don't want you to have any kind of concern, like, you know, maybe if you've never worked with ritual before, you might be nervous. You might be wondering what could happen to you. Okay, this is all very safe. And just be open to the experience. Just be open to what comes through. Okay, so there's certain pieces that I'm bringing in tonight to help guide you. And then we're going to pull some cards and just get some messages for the fun of it. See what else wants to come through. So by now you've chosen your amulet. Your amulet has come to you, and your amulet is going to be something that you can wear or carry on your person. Okay, it's nice if it can be like a piece of jewelry. I find that sort of symbolic, you know, and you can really wear it and have it on your person. But you know, an amulet could even be like a fetish statue that you keep in your pocket, you know, um, or a special stone. Okay, there's no right or wrong amulet. So if you still haven't found your amulet, but you are ready for this, I really encourage you to, you know, just open yourself to the energy. And this is very much working with fairy, and particularly the path that I'm on is really just to be open to the flow, to not get stuck, to not get trapped in all the shoulds, and put yourself in a pen. You know, let yourself run free and let your mind run free, and be open to the way that your amulet comes to you. And if you have yet to receive your amulet, or you don't know what you should use as your amulet, I ask you to just state to yourself right now that fairy is going to point the way to your amulet tomorrow, and it will come. And just trust what comes through. Okay, maybe it's an acorn, maybe it's a special feather you find, you know, but it's something that you can carry on your person. And maybe it's initially it's just something like that that you are later going to incorporate into a jewelry piece. You don't know what'll end up happening. If you know, a particular item comes through for you, it might not make sense right now, but just trust. Maybe it's something that you have on your altar and you connect with it and carry it with you, or hold it when you're you know, doing your work, you know, when you're wanting to really connect with fairy. But just trust the process. Okay, you're going to feel your own way through with this, because the guidelines I'm going to give you will provide you the basic structure, but you're always going to use your own words, and you're always going to listen to your own intuition and let that guide you in how you carry these things out. The path rises up out of your own heart. All right, I can just show you safe ways to go about things, and I'm getting the download about the way to enter you into this flow of working with fairy, and to do so in a way that's really empowering for you. But the path rises up out of you, out of your own way of connecting with fairy, which is different for every witch. It's different for everybody. And anybody who tells you they have the only one right way, they are full of shit. Because that's so not fairy. It's so not fairy. Fairy is unable to be controlled. Okay. It is wild. It is free. I want you to ask yourself, do you have control over nature? Can you control the wild winds? No, no. You just go along for the ride, man. Okay. So um, don't get caught up in dogma. This is the first thing I want to bring forward. Don't get caught up in bullshit that you see on social media about what it means to be a witch, that you have to have these special tools, that you need to say what you have to say with exactly these words. And if you don't, then you're not really being a witch. It's all bullshit. It's all posturing. It's not necessary. It's not. And if you are somebody that really speaks to, okay? If you are somebody that you're like, I want the athame, I want the goblet, I want the wand, I want to have those traditional kind of tools that I see used in a more Wiccan path, okay? This is not Wicca that I'm teaching. And that's a common misconception that every witch is a Wiccan. Not true. Not true. I'm not Wiccan. This is a very free flow, spontaneous, uh, work with what you got kind of path. And it doesn't fear chaos, okay? It works with the energy of chaos, understanding that, it takes chaos to birth a star, man. It takes chaos to birth a star, all right? So, you know, it's from that nothingness that chaos is the creative force that sparks creation. you know so it's about understanding how to work with that energy, how to work with that wild energy and use it as a creative force in your life. This is not a path of structure. I am not going to give you all kinds of long drawn out directions about specific rituals you have to do. I'm going to give you frameworks, and I'm going to teach you techniques for accessing your psychic awareness, techniques for communing with fairy, techniques for invoking in your own words, techniques for earthing the energy, techniques for drawing down the moon, techniques for, spell casting as well. Okay. But spell casting for things like, hey, I want to be in a better place financially, or I want to grow as a dancer, or I want to find that perfect home where I just can really settle in and put down roots. Whatever your dreams are, that are your dreams, that don't involve you, manipulating another's will. Because I want you to understand this with fairy. Fairy don't play that shit. Fairy believes in freedom. Fairy is feral. So if you're getting into this and you want to do any kind of working where you're like trying to control somebody or playing games like that or love spells, oh, fairy will fuck you up if you try to do love workings, because above all, they value love, and love is never to be messed with, okay? And neither is infringing on somebody's free will, okay? That doesn't fly very well in fairy. It just doesn't. And they tend to teach their lessons rather harshly, and usually by playing tricks on you, where you end up calling in a little bit of that coyote medicine. You're found chasing your own tail and find you bit yourself in the ass. So just don't go there, okay? Just don't go there. This is about really understanding that a priestess or priest makes all things sound, makes all things sound. And it really is about coming into that place of invoking that high priestess energy, invoking that magician energy within yourself, and understanding the responsibility of that, understanding the responsibility of holding power and having a respect for it and having a respect for source. But it's important workings, okay? It's important working. So you're using this amulet as a way to keep you connected to that source as you go through this process of initiation. It's just something that can act as a way to put you in the psychic awareness space where you can have more of that feeling of direct connection with Goddess, with God, with Fairy, by holding something tangible, something you can see, feel, touch, and by remembering the energy you charged it with, which is what we do when we do a consecration ritual. Okay. So you have your amulet. Okay. You have your amulet. I want you to first set up on a full moon. So tomorrow night, tomorrow night, set up an altar. It can be very simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. Um, and I actually encourage you to put down a black altar cloth. So it can sort of speak of um, that great expanse of darkness, that Danu reflected into, scried into. Let it represent that black mirror, that that black mirror from which you can scry all potentiality. And then within this, I want you to put symbols at 7 points, okay, for the fairy star, also known as the septagram. There's a few different names for it, but it's a 7-pointed star. And each point means something, and we'll be working with that as we dive into this process, getting further into it, okay? We're not going to be covering that in this particular reading, but I want you to put on this altar symbols in at all the 7 points. You can even draw a fairy star and place it there in the center. You want to make sure if you do that you cover it when you're done. Understand that when you're working with these stars, they are portals, okay? They're an invitation for fairy to come forward. I think it could be beautiful, actually. One way you could really work with this is if you actually went out under the moon with that growing full moon in Pisces, because Danu is known as that, water bearer. And so I have such a strong association with her and the star card. And it would just be so beautiful to invoke that energy, do some moon bathing, lay out a simple altar outside, with a simple black cloth. And you could get oats, okay? Oats are a very lovely fairy offering, okay? They love to receive oats. And you could even use the oats to sprinkle on that black cloth, a fairy star, and you would want to start from the bottom left. Okay, it's going to look opposite on camera here, but you would start from the bottom left and you would sprinkle it up. Oops. Yeah, let's get over here. Up. So you start from the bottom here. It's hard for me to do. Oh my gosh. I can't look over there when I'm doing it. I get all thrown off. Here, let's see. Let's see here. Let's bring this in. Let's bring this in. Let me draw it. Let me draw it. Where's a pen? Do I have a pen in here? Do I have a pen in here? Oh my gosh. Come on now. Come on now. I got a lipstick. I got a lipstick. This is a little, see what I mean? Spontaneous. Spontaneous. We don't need any magic pen, man. We can use lipstick. This is broad pen. Okay? So you would start here, go here, 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 here. Okay? Oh, look at that. It's just like a fairy star. Now you see it, now you don't. I'll provide a link. I'll provide a link that has a picture of a fairy star. But if you look at the cover of this video, in the center of that shield, it has a fairy star. Okay. But you just want to start when you're drawing it. You want to start at that bottom left point, okay? And then you go up to the top, you bring it down to the right. And from there, you go to the left, top, down to the bottom right, over to the side, left, over to the right, left, and then down to that bottom left point again, okay? Hard to like really communicate that over video, but I'll maybe link to a video or something that shows somebody drawing a septogram. I'm sure I can find one, okay? But if you wanted to do that with oats on the center of that black cloth, that would be really amazing, really amazing. And then you could put your amulet in the center. So it's almost like you're making an exchange with fairy. You're saying, I'm giving you the gift of these oats, and I'm asking that you help me charge this as a magical amulet to signify my dedication to this path that I am initiating on this journey into the heart of fairy. And it's a wonderful way to find favor with them. And then you could put on this simple cloth something to symbolize earth. Okay, so I would recommend salt would be good to use. You can also use witch's salt if you have any of that, which is really just like any leftover ashes that you have burned from any kind of sacred herbs mixed with sea salt, and it's used for warding, it's used for protection. So you could utilize that. But with each of the points, you're going to put on something, to match with the points of that septogram. So with the septogram, it represents north, earth, okay, east, air, south, fire, west, water, and then it represents above, below, within, okay? And the thing is, we can see above, okay? And above is traditionally what you hear commonly used with the pentagram as akasha, spirit, ether. I like to think of above as the song of ecstasis. That's the song of fairy that carries on the wind, that those sound waves, ecstasis, ripple through everything in creation. It hums within all of your cells. It's in every rustle of every leaf. It's in every tiny breeze. It's in the swaying grasses. It's in the sound of the water as it rushes the shore. That is ecstasis. It's your heartbeat. It is, the baby moving around in the amniotic fluid of the womb. All right. Ecstasis is that reverberation, that frequency, that harmony that is running through all of creation, right? So your amulet is in the center there, and it's right at the point it would be above, right? Okay, so it's about drawing that ecstasis, that song of ecstasis down, all right, to imbue it in your amulet, which represents what grows within that can't be seen. Okay. And then what's below? Who knows what's below? We don't know what's below, right? Do we know what's below? Do we know what's below the ground? Do we know what's below the surface if we haven't peered into beneath the surface yet? So I want you to put symbols at each of those points, okay? At each of those points. So, you can really tune in, and it's okay, just make sure you don't need to worry about the other points now. We don't need to get into like really specific with the directions right now for the above, below, and within. Okay, just think of above as right above that center point of your septogram. It's the middle, and the within is there too. And then when you're looking at, the below, it's that finishing point. Okay, it's that finishing point. The lovely thing is that if you use that oatmeal to lay out that fairy star, then when you are done with your consecration rite, you can very simply just sweep it away using the same motion that you called it in, and you can leave it there. Just leave it out for fairy, and it invites blessings your way. So it's sort of a sweet way to find fairy favor and a nice thing to leave out for them. And again, you would just reverse your path, to open up that energy, and you got your salt, okay, to represent the earth. For air to the east, you could use incense, like that smoke rising. Like we got this action going on here that can represent air, so you could put incense there. You could also bring in, you could bring in a feather, and when you call in, you kind of get that smoke to rise with the feather. Okay. You can even use your breath. Again, work with what you got. Be spontaneous. You can work with your breath, to call in the wind. You can have a candle, maybe get one of those nice glass contained candles that you could light to represent the fire, or, honestly, like an incense can represent the fire and the air too. Okay. And then for the water, here's where we're going to do something special. I want you to get like a decent sized vessel, and something that you can either put a lid on or some kind of screen on to keep it clean and so bugs don't get into it and stuff. But you're going to have a very big, full container to hold water that you are going to allow to charge under that full moon. Okay, under that full moon. It's something that you will use, after you do your consecration of your amulet, right? And then you want to use something that symbolizes above to you. So when you think goddess, when you think God, when you think spirit, creator, however you relate to that presently, okay? Because remember, you're going to make this path your own, all right? So however you associate with it presently. I mean, in fairy, it all works. It all comes from the primordial mother. It all comes from that black mirror reflecting, different images of the mothers. So whatever speaks to you at this present time, however you relate to that essence, spirit, creator, creatrix, have some symbol of that, on your altar, on this blank black canvas, okay? And then something to represent within, which for the within, I want you to hold your amulet and I want you to think of everything that you are hoping to gain within yourself, all right? I'm not talking about what you hope to achieve in the material world. I'm not talking about goodies you want. I'm talking about ways that you hope to grow, ways that you hope to evolve, things you want to transform, things you want to stir and awaken in yourself. Really think about this work of alchemy and transcending your limitations, transcending the parts of you that are maybe at what you see right now at a place of being in a state of brokenness, and instead thinking about what can come through that. What is the light that can come through the brokenness? What can be put together in a new way now? What can be put together in a new way now? So hold those intentions for yourself really put this energy into the amulet. And I encourage you as you do this, okay, before you lay that amulet down in the center of that fairy star, that you look up at that sky, look up at that great expanse, and look at all the stars that are there now. Look at all the stars that are there now. And choose one. Choose one of those stars. Choose one of those stars to call your own. And maybe even, set it up so you can actually lay and stare and do your own scrying into that great expanse of the heavens and focus on that one star that's calling you. And just speak to it, everything that you are looking to call into being within yourself through going on this journey into the heart of fairy. And ask that star to send its light to build within this amulet that you hold within your hands. Maybe even hold it up and just let it be charged by that light. Let that moonlight charge up this amulet in your hands, okay? And then when you feel ready, you can go and you can sprinkle a little salt on the amulet, and you can say from your own heart, in your own words, I ask that this amulet be imbued with the energies of earth to give grounding, to give solidity, to give strength, to give foundation to the work that I'm doing as I move forward, and to teach me the ways of manifesting in harmony with all of life. Okay? Consecrate this earth as a magical amulet to guide me, protect me, and work with me as I follow this path. Okay? It can be whatever words come forward in you. You do not have to say what I said. And to be honest with you, when I consecrate my new amulet for this journey with you, I'm probably not going to say that. I'm going to say whatever arises spontaneously in the moment. But you're basically asking that particular element to imbue their energies in your amulet and to bless it as a magical object that will support you on your journey. Okay? And with the east, you'll do the same thing, run your amulet through the stream of the smoke, and ask for air, to imbue it with its energies. And then just call forward, what does air make you think of? How is air element speaking to you in that moment? There is no wrong answer. Please, I want you to really just dive into the creativity of this, let it come forward in you however it wants to. Use whatever words you want to use. Let it be messy, let it be silly, let it be filled with laughter or fumbles. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, just speak very spontaneously from your heart and ask air to fill it with its essence, with its energy, and to imbue those qualities in it and bless it as an amulet of magical power for your use on this path. And then fire, and then water, okay? And then above, and then below, and then within, all right? And, when we're looking at these below and within, they're very interesting energies. So you'll have no idea what will come forward in you at that time, and what you choose to put on your altar to symbolize those things, those qualities below and within. Do take note of it. It's significant, and they'll act somewhat as glyphs for you on this journey. You watch, mark my words, they're going to provide a certain signpost for the work that you're doing. Okay. So after you've had it blessed up by all of those 7 different directions, okay, let's just go over them again, right? Earth, north, air, east, fire, south, water, west. Okay. We know automatically that we got above goes back, over to the east direction. Okay. But above, below, within. Okay. And with that within, you're really looking at that above is getting rooted within. It's drawing down within. Once you've done this, your amulet is ready. You've charged it as a magical implement. You already imbued it with its intention. You let it get, charged up by that star that you had your meditation with while you stared into that same expanse of blackness that once had no stars, that Danu stared into to see her own reflection. And now here you are, her reflection looking back at her in that moment. So it's something that can really act as a point of connection. And then this water, okay, this moon water, the next morning when you get up after you have done this ritual with the growing moon, I want you to take some of that water and pour it into a beautiful bowl. And this bowl is a bowl that you will always keep on your altar that you have in your home. All right. So if you haven't set up an altar in your home yet for this 13 moon journey, do set something up. Even if it's just a simple shelf right now, your altar can always grow and evolve with you. And put this beautiful bowl on your altar. I'm actually going to show it to you. My friend Danielle made it. She's an amazing potter. And she made this gorgeous, gorgeous bowl. And it's not doing it justice with this lighting. It's not doing it justice with this lighting, but I will show it at another time. But she made this for me. And I'm going to use this on my altar. But what you'll do is you'll take some of that full moon water and you'll pour it into this bowl, okay? And it's symbolic of Danu's well. Danu is often depicted holding like a basin of water like this, and she pours it out upon the land to nurture with her waters to make everything grow verdant. Okay, so you're going to leave this on the next day, Saturday, all day and through the night. You're going to leave this on your altar. I'm also going to ask you to get a candle and light it. That candle you use for the south, to represent the fire element, keep it going. I recommend too that you use a white candle for this just because it's symbolizing initiation, but there is great association with Danu and Greek. Okay. Some people may call it Bridget. Okay. And that would be a modern pronunciation, but old, Irish Gaelic, it would be Brig, okay? And the goddess Brig also has, somewhat of a well or a cauldron, but it's the fire of inspiration. So there we have that dualistic energy again, remember? It was so interesting because with that hippocampus message that came in, that other download, it was all about the land and the water, the land and the sea. And within Goddess Danu, there's association with other goddesses. In fact, in a lot of times there's debate that they're all the same energy. She is a primordial mother, so she's all of it really at all times. But so we have another duality here with, Danu with her waters, and then also her other aspect, Brig, with her cauldron of fire, of creativity, of transformation. Okay. So I want you to have the water, okay, and the fire on your altar inside, holding that space. All right. You're going to let that candle just burn, just burn through the night and burn all the way down. 7-day candles are wonderful. If you can find a candle and you can keep it in a safe container, so it's not a fire hazard, and you can let it burn for days, that would be beautiful. Just to call forward that light of, breaks, transformational fires during the time of the moon going into its dark phase, just would be so beautiful. Such a beautiful way for what's going to be coming in, and to like um, welcome in that new moon in Libra that will come in on the 25th, just to have a nice like way to stretch out this working. Okay. The other, okay, the water, the next morning, okay, so Sunday morning, you will take this water, okay, the moon water that you poured in here, and you will spill it out upon the earth in gratitude, and also to establish that connection, the connection with earth, nurturing the earth, embodying Danu's essence, you know, to bring forward the abundance of growth, the abundance of transformation, okay, the abundance of blessing on this path. And after you empty it, go and fill it with more water. May she never thirst. May her waters always be kept full. Okay. And do this every day, leading up to that Libra new moon. Pour water into the bowl, leave it throughout that day, through the night, next morning, pour it on the ground. Okay. And for that, you don't need to continue to use the moon water, because what I would like you to do that Saturday evening, you know, um, is use that moon water, the rest of the moon water you have that you didn't pour into your bowl, and wash yourself with it. Work with that Pisces full moon energy to just get your cleansing, purification, because this path is endless purification. And right there, we got the 3 of Cups, bottom of the deck energy right here. That's about celebration, okay? It's raising a glass, okay? And it's working with that water element, all right? So it's sort of like welcome to the path, all right? Um, this is the beginning. This is the initiation. It had an Ace of Wands flip up right on top of the deck, right off the bat. So this is the working, very simple. I, was going to get into a deep reading, but there was so much that just wanted to like channel and come through. So I'm just going to flow with it. You can't plan these kind of things. You have to just really work with the energy. But I'm just going to see, is there any message to send to those who are stepping on this path of fairy with commitment to seeing through these 13 moons? Mm. 2 of Swords. Okay. 2 of Swords. So 2 of Swords is, again, it's all about making that choice, making that choice. Are you ready to do the work? This is what Fairy is saying here, okay? With the 3 of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck to go with this 2 of Swords. Consider this. Consider this strongly before you step on this path. Because once you do, you're in it for the long haul. This is the journey. I think this came through in our last reading. This is the journey of you getting on that horse. Look at this horse is of earth and air, and also this horse is very fiery looking. So it reminds me of fire and air too. I love all the way that the elements are coming together, these opposites being pulled together. And that's really kind of what fairy is about. It's the contradictions. It's how 2 different directions are one and the same, how sometimes upside down is right side up. So I love that all this kind of imagery is coming through. But I know I didn't pick the best color, but I was really feeling this blue tonight with the watery vibes coming in. I'm loving the energy of that building full moon. And I'm normally not one for like a water full moon, but I'm really enjoying this Pisces full moon energy that's building. I'm ready for the deep dive. But this is the journey of the Empress, okay, or the Emperor, you know, the embodiment of all four of those elemental queens, you know, stepping into that fairy queen energy, okay? That's what it's about, or fairy king, okay? We're just calling that in, and you'll move forward. You'll move forward towards this, but you're not just going to be handed to it. You'll have a lot of help from fairy. There's partnership there, okay, with the Six of Pentacles. But it seems like there's just this final consideration. Fairy just wants you to know there will be challenges to this path. It's not going to come easy. So please consider this wisely before you consecrate your amulet, because I'm getting very strongly that they're taking that as like full permission to spirit you away into their realm of what can sometimes be hard knocks. Okay, you're going to get rocking and rolling. I notice it usually happens like right around moon 4 is when things really start rocking and rolling for people, and they go, oh my gosh, I didn't know it would be all this. Okay, and it's because you do have to look at that stuff that you've been sweeping under the rug for a long time. It's a constant purification process so you can be a clear channel, so you can be pure of heart, you know, and you can really move into that energy of love. This fairy is all about love. That's why it's the heart of fairy, all right? And love for all of life, love for all of life, and celebration for this garden of earthly delight. And it requires you to really like raise up your vibration, you know, not be so ungrateful, not be so closed off, but really, you know, move like that empress, dancing through life, a spirit of celebration for all the abundance and beauty. And that's like the earthly personification, right? Of Goddess Danu, the water goddess, the earth goddess. Let's just do a covet deck energy. Queen of Wands. All right. I think those of you who are tuning in for this, I think you're ready. You're like, I'm the Queen of Wands, baby. I'm ready to take up this wand. I'm ready for this journey. I'm ready to initiate. Bring it on. Okay. So we got a real beautiful start here. I'm excited. Ooh, look at that. Lots of growth on deck with the Nine of Pentacles on the other side of the split. Definitely going to come into that place of power within yourself and grow on this path if you decide to go there. So, you know, Fairy just really wants to bring this through, though. Just take that extra moment, you know, take that extra moment before you do this ritual, because, you know, once you've gone through with this and you've consecrated your amulet, and you know, taken some of that full moon charged lunar water and you poured it over your head and told Danu, all right, I'm ready to go on this ride. You know, you're in. You're in. And people sometimes don't really realize how much they're in until they're in. Okay, so just make sure you're ready to do the work, and it will be a beautiful, magical, wild ride. So that's what I have for all of you. And have a beautiful full moon. Have a beautiful ritual of consecrating your amulet. And if you have any questions, or you need any clarification on anything, or you just want to share your experience or anything you want to bring in, feel free to drop a comment. I'm happy to help. And welcome to the path, Fairy.